The illustrious Jabba bids you welcome. I'm going to regret this.
I'm Pete Mitchell. He's Peyton Jones. And this is the Church Planter Podcast, brought to you by Church Planter Magazine.
Hey, Church Planter. This is Pete Mitchell.
And this is Peyton Jones.
And we're here for a very special edition of the Church Planter Podcast, a spoiler-filled edition of the Church Planter Podcast, all on Star Wars.
Yes, this is about the new movie. If you've not seen the new movie, go no further. Beware. This is a spoiler-packed episode. We're going to ruin the film for you, tell you the ending, tell you what's what, tell you how my theories were all correct.
Every one of your theories was wrong. Not just one or two. Every one that you even imagined was wrong. I know.
And my theories were so much better than what they did. And that's where I'm hurting.
Well,
but let's talk about it. Yeah. It was a good film. For those of you that still have not tuned out yet, we're kind of assuming you're either like, on the exercise bike and Siri's not listening. You're like, Siri, stop podcast. Or you just don't care at this point. So we're going to carry on past this moment of no return, like the dark side. Let's go, Pete.
Well, tell me your thoughts, because you were the one who said you were conflicted.
I was as conflicted as Rey was standing in front of the Emperor, as conflicted as Luke was standing in front of the Emperor. And as I stood in front of the Emperor, nay, as I sat, even reclined even in front of the Emperor today, I thought there were things in this film that could not have been any better.
Such as?
And, well, I mean, gosh, I'm still processing. I literally came out of the theater, called you, got in my car and said, let's do the podcast when I'm home.
Okay.
So I'm still processing. So you, on the other hand, saw it last night. You've had, you slept on it. So your brain put everything in its right boxes according to neuroscience.
Okay, I never guessed Palpatine was the grandfather. Never. That was never on any radar I'd heard from anybody.
Mike Zero, Zeroh, who I thought this whole time was full of crap on YouTube, nailed all of it. He said he had an inside source leaking him information, which, by the way, Star Wars employee who did that, you're a knob. Why would you work for Lucasfilm or Disney and make a Star Wars film and then leak it out to a guy that puts it on YouTube for clickbait? You're a loser. And I'm sorry, I have forgiveness issues. God forgive me.
So I'd never heard anyone with that theory, and I thought it was brilliant.
See?
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't like that suddenly they pulled kids out of the Emperor's butt. It was like, what? Like, we don't even see him having a family. And, fair
I don't
play.
think he had much of a family. Not if your kid's running from you.
You see, I always kind of assumed, though, didn't you, that in the same way that the dark side of the Force created life, and he hints at that, Lucas did, that maybe Rey was supposed to be, the good side being produced. I don't know.
No, I didn't. I don't even know what you're talking about there at all.
Well, it's those things called the prequels that you hear people talking about, Pete.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that never happened. Not canon. # not my Star Wars. So, yeah, man. So, it works for me. It works for me. Don't get me wrong. I can accept it.
They have horse racing on the side of a spaceship in space.
What's weird, though, is I like that. I thought it was going to ruin the whole movie for me when I saw the commercial. I'm like, oh, here we go again with the horses. And I was like, I really like that. That's cool. Yeah.
Jam the speeders. We can't. They don't have speeders. They got horses.
What were they supposed to do with the speeders?
Quick, put some oats out. Stop the horses.
What did they say? What did they say about the speeders?
Jam the speeders.
Jam the speeders.
They don't have speeders.
They thought way ahead on this, and they did horse riding lessons and everything.
I totally felt like JJ was like, okay, I have to ignore the last movie completely.
Which he totally did. You could literally take that entire other movie out. In this movie, I can't wait to watch.
You just know Luke's dead. That's all you got to know. Luke's dead.
Yeah, Luke's dead. You know, she, I guess you got to, you know, or even if Luke's not, I guess Luke has to be dead. But yeah, he did pay homage because he's under the dictation of the mouse. He does have to pay attention, but only as much, in fairness, as Ryan paid attention to his first film.
Yeah, you really don't need The Last Jedi. You can get rid of it completely.
Thank God.
What'd you think of the yellow lightsaber?
That was cool. I just didn't understand it.
I didn't at first. I was like, dude, seriously? Why is she burying the lightsabers? Like, my whole thinking process was, this doesn't make any sense at all. And then, it's because she's made her own now. So it's no longer about having Luke or Leia's lightsaber. It's about having my own. I created it.
Right.
And honestly, when it's yellow, I'm thinking, is she a gray? Like, did they go the route of the gray?
Yeah, the yellow, it means something. And I can't remember what it means. Because I don't mind like there being a yellow. I mean, we had purple, right?
Which was horrid. That was stupid. They needed to get rid of that. That was Lucas making a huge mistake.
Yeah.
It needs to be green if you're a master, blue if you're an apprentice, and red if you're dark side. That's what it needed to be. Period. Just
I do got to admit that the CGI for Luke and Leia being young, that was kind of bad. It was all right for Luke. But
okay, no, I'm with you. But here's the thing: was Leia older? Was that CGI?
Yeah, that was. Oh no, that was real.
When did she film that? Because keep in mind, she died before the second movie was done.
So they had gotten takes of her doing different things, and they said they had to write around some of it. And because it's funny because you keep seeing these shots in Rena where Leia's just standing there like a master, and she calls her master, like she's just patiently observing. And it's because they had a shot of her they didn't have her walking, so they couldn't do like shots of her walking. They just had to have her standing there observing Rey, like training her.
I couldn't tell, man. Cool. I was not sure if it was CGI or
what. It was legit. And who's to say a few of them weren't? But the Leia CGI they did when Luke and Leia are sparring was quite poor. I do got to admit.
It's hard to make people look young.
Let me just think of what I loved the opening where Kylo is just mowing through whoever he's got to mow through. And we're watching him in combat take on like 20 dudes.
Right.
Opening the scene. Amazing. I like the little holocron.
What do you think when he kills all the Knights of Ren?
That was great.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, the lightsaber battles on this thing were phenomenal. Like they were really good. The way they explained the bond between them, I didn't quite understand what he used a fancy word, diatrates or something like that. I don't know. It only happens every, so often. I don't remember what that was, but
that's because their original intent wasn't daughter of Palpatine and wasn't, son of. I'm telling you, there was different intent. Because remember, Force Awakens, he was looking for a girl. He's like, what do you mean there's a girl? Who's the girl? Like, JJ had to change the story because Rian Johnson screwed it up.
How so?
Kylo was looking for the girl. There was a different relationship, and they had to change it because it doesn't fit anymore. When he was like, "Wait, who's the girl? What do you mean there's a girl? Who's this girl?" Right? That was Force Awakens.
Right.
And now he's like, we're a diatribe or whatever you called it. And,
right.
No, there was a different, JJ was going to do a different relationship between the two of them.
That's what I am dying to know is what was his what was his plan for episode 8? Because from what I've read online, and you could trust everything you read online. What I've read online is that Ryan paid literally no mind at all to JJ's second script. Didn't use a shred of it.
Yeah.
Which, dang him. But I loved when Luke catches a lightsaber and goes, "You should show more respect for a Jedi weapon." And I love that was the smackdown he put on Ryan. JJ was laying some smack on Ryan right there.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Okay, I totally, because he threw the lightsaber behind him.
So when Luke catches it and goes, "This is a Jedi weapon. You should show it more respect." Yeah!
That's true. I totally forgot about that.
Come on, a little bit of sparring going on. I love it.
Yeah.
So the Emperor was freaking rad.
He really was.
Temple was amazing. I loved every bit of that. I actually felt at a certain point like this is kind of part horror film.
Yeah.
Because they had that red underneath the black robe where he was kind of like Dracula, and I was like, this is awesome.
I love how he had the cataract eyes, and then when he stole their power, he got his eyes back, and I was like, this was really good. Like they thought through that.
Yeah, and he wasn't fully formed yet, which was cool, like when he got his fingers grow back. So that goes back to my theory, which we all know is wrong now because all my theories are wrong, but that the Emperor was trying to get Baby Yoda to steal the Force out of him or try to pour himself into the Yoda.
Well, The Mandalorian, they came out with a special episode on Wednesday, which has to do with Jedis can heal, and they released it on Wednesday because of the movie. It's true.
That's so great.
It's true.
Well, I used to play the video games, and Jedis could heal in that. You could heal yourself with the Force in the old Jedi game. But
I wonder if Palpatine was the original guy they were bringing back.
The Sith.
Yeah, I wonder if JJ that was originally his plan on bringing back Palpatine.
I think it was. I think Snoke was always meant to be, someone else. But you never know, because if Ryan kills Snoke, was it going to be like the showdown between Kylo at the end? I love that Kylo saved, and I love the way that they did it. It was very cool that she heals him and kind of breaks him. Now, I got a question for you about Leia. What was going on there? Did she put some of her life into Kylo and that helped turn him, but it kind of killed her? And then when he dies, she dies. Notice how she doesn't become a blue ghost until he becomes a blue ghost. Then she goes. And I think because he says what she has to do now is going to take all the strength she has. And then she seems to die. But I think...
she didn't disappear yet.
I think she there's this whole idea of your essence going from person to person. I think she gave some of herself to give him the strength. And then when she turns around and sees Han Solo, do you think it was her talking through Han? Because he says, yes, this is your memory. Do you think that's her?
Oh.
Kind of
is that when it happened? I don't even remember when it happened.
Yeah, it happens right then, because right when she kind of dies, hey, Wayne, you're immortalized on the podcast. So as she lays down, but she doesn't absorb into the Force, showing she's not totally dead yet.
Right.
Then I don't know. But then I wondered about, I made that joke this morning. You were cracking me up going, Jar Jar's really the Emperor. You were throwing out all these crazy theories, and I go, Han Solo.
Jar Jar should have been the Emperor. They should have brought him back.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine if they had done that? That would have been so funny.
Because that would have been going back to the Phantom Menace and showing how ridiculous Jar Jar was. And remember, there were fan theories who were like, I think Jar Jar was supposed to be the Sith because he's Force sensitive and you just don't really see it.
I would love if they would make a documentary, like a mockumentary, where they're talking about all the ideas that got scrapped, and if they built this whole concocted story about Jar Jar and all the things they were going to do. So, but Andrew looked. I'll skip that part. But the kiss. But remember all the theories this morning. I said, "Oh, Han comes back as a Force ghost," and I totally threw that out there this morning as a ridiculous joke.
Did you say that to who?
I did, to you. I
don't remember that.
I think I did. Maybe I said something else. I thought I said Force ghost.
You might have, but I was like, well, we knew Han Solo had to be in all 3 movies because we've known that since the very beginning. So it was like, whatever. Okay, sure. He's got to be something.
So here's our text last night. Pete hits me and he shows a picture of him and Luke sitting there in the theater, and it goes, #spoiler alert. And then Rey gave birth to herself, which
I know.
You got to know that joke with us, spoilers. And I put thumbs up or down. That's all I want to know. And then I wait a few hours and I go, so?
I was in the movie then. That's why I wasn't texting you back. It was
long.
Well, I took that picture and posted it on Facebook before we even watched the movie. That's why you were like texting me, and I'm like, dude, I'm in the movie, man. I don't got an answer for you yet.
So it goes like this. It goes, JJ put the smackdown on Ryan. Luke told me to tell you, you are wrong. When you watching the movie, because we have to do a podcast on this soon, like right away. I said, I'll see it Saturday. But then. See,
that's why I thought you were going to see it tomorrow. That's why I was like, why are we going to do the podcast today if you're going to see it tomorrow?
Yeah, I left that little detail out because I texted him 10:45, tickets all set. And I asked you, this is like me, was it good, dude? I'm scared.
I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was the perfect way to end the saga. I thought I even liked how they go, what's your name? Well, I'm Rey Skywalker.
That was brilliant.
I was like, okay.
I teared. Okay, did you cry at all during the film? I cried.
I almost just cussed. I almost just cussed, like dropping the F-bomb. No, of course not. What do you mean? I didn't cry.
Hell no, I'm Pete Mitchell.
Karate man don't bruise on the outside.
Karate man. Yeah, so I cried like a baby, dude.
Why?
It was emotional, man. It was like,
Which part?
Couple different times. Obviously when Leia dies, I teared up.
Yeah, I didn't.
I teared up a lot. I suppose because I adopted my kids, right? So the fact that Luke and Leia are there, and you kind of see like those are the only parents she's ever had. They did parent her. Luke kind of does later. Not he does a suck job. He's like a suck dad at first, but Leia really took her under, and really Han did too, I suppose. But yeah, I like that she said Skywalker. I thought it was pretty touching.
Because I was like, is she going to say Rey Palpatine? I mean, is that really a name you want to go by after all
Rey
of that?
Sith? Rey Sith.
There you go.
Tell him Rey Sith sent you. So it would be rad if she goes, I don't have a last name, but I do have a forename. It's Empress Rey, please. That would be rad.
Yeah, I didn't understand the whole, I need you to strike me down so I can then take over your body. And I was like, come on.
Well, because his body just wasn't rebuilding itself, and he needed a young body. That sounded wrong. Move along.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, I liked how he had no legs at that time, right? He was hooked up.
Oh, he didn't have legs?
No.
Oh, I missed that part.
He's like hanging by a crane, man. They got like awesome. Oh yeah, it was really good. Like I thought everything they did with him was excellent. And was that the same actor? I was like, dude, it's the same voice. It's the same look.
I think Ian McKellen. Yeah, I think it was him. Or no, Ian McKellen. It's not Ian McKellen, is it?
I don't know.
Is that his name? I got my Ians mixed up. I think there's an Ian in. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure because I kept thinking the same because he didn't look right. But keep in mind, this dude's 20 years older now, right? Like he was old back when he did Jedi, right? Like he's old.
Well, no, not when he did Jedi. I'm talking about, is it the same guy that did Palpatine?
Well, it's been the same actor the whole time, right?
You mean all 9 movies?
Yeah. It's always been the same dude.
No,
Ian McDermott. Ian McDermott?
I don't know.
Yeah. Ian McDermott. My Ian mixed up. But anyway, so I text you. I want to tell him about this. Here's some of Pete's little things he throws out because I say, he goes, Rey isn't real. Force Ghost, the whole 3 movies. So I put LOL. She is the will of the Force. Did JJ save it like Luke and Jedi? Or is my father truly dead? Help me, OBP. You're my only hope. There's still good in Star Wars. I can feel it. And you put, Vader's father was a Jawa. Now that's a bad mental picture. That's a bad mental picture. How'd that happen?
I thought that would have been a good twist. Maybe it wasn't the midichlorians that made Vader. Maybe it was a Jawa.
But, yeah, because, she's a slave lady, right? His mom was a slave. And there's a lot of shame attached to, relationships with Jawas. And, hey, could have happened. She got lonely. And Jar Jar makes a comeback. He's the Emperor.
I still think Jar Jar as the Emperor would have been perfect.
Yeah, but here's the 3 tweets. Jar Jar makes a comeback. He's the Emperor. Builds himself an Olympic-sized indoor pool. This is why you need to be friends with Pete. These tweets are going, or texts are going. He says, turns out. This one I really laughed at. I actually laughed out loud when I read this. Turns out Han is Leia's brother as well. Kylo is, special mentally. Then you go, JJ ignored Ryan. And I say, yes, glad he ignored him. Turnabout's fair play. Ha, and Kylo. And then you go, what theater are you seeing that might come up? And then let's see what else. There was something else. I put, where's my theories? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. After my inappropriate, non-politically correct one about my hope.
Which, by the way, was
which happened. I was throwing a complete, I want to be sure to see this.
You threw something out there that you thought was ridiculous, and I'm like, well, that kind of does happen in the movie.
It does happen in it. It's still Disney. There's still some Last Jedi PC stuff thrown in there. And then
but you saw it, right? You saw what I was talking about.
I saw it, yeah. And Andrew looked at me right then like, oh, this is a new Star Wars then.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm going to say my theory. They played it the way they did in my text to you. Yeah. Because you could kind of go either way with that.
Another way. Yeah. And and you go, there is, not kidding. And I say, oh my gosh. And then I said, eyes rolling so far racket in my head that I'm looking at my brain, which is now stupider for having read that text. Now we truly are Star Trek. But right before that exchange, I put, Han is a Force Ghost?
Did you?
I did.
I still think the Rose comment was great.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, you did put Han as a Force Ghost. Well, I mean, obviously,
so
Han
ridiculous
had to show
to me. So ridiculous to me. Yeah. Like, they're going to make Han as a Force, and I thought, this is hilarious comedy. And then
he wasn't a Jedi, so he can't be a Force Ghost.
Right. So I think Leia did it. I think that was part of what Leia was doing. And when she died,
Good
and
call.
they said, what she has to do now. I think he was a Force hologram that she projected as Han Solo.
That could be.
That's what she did. She appeared as Han Solo to turn him. And that was rad how he turns around and throws his lightsaber. I was like, yeah! And that same speech over again.
I was like, dude, that's really a cool lightsaber. I kind of...
But it's a Sith lightsaber. It's got a Sith crystal.
Yeah.
So he's got to go get a different kyber crystal. He's got to get a blue or green. He didn't have one. And I think with all the people he killed with it, it's kind of like, I'm just ditching this thing. But
but think about how many people have died with Anakin's lightsaber, which Luke's been using like nothing. I mean,
how many children?
He killed like 30 kids. I mean, come on.
That's so funny.
You don't see anyone throwing that in the ocean.
This is your father's lightsaber. He killed a bunch of children with it. Now it's yours.
I know. Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough.
He killed a lot of kids with it. But, I mean, it was a good film, dude. I mean, JJ, well done, JJ.
Did you see that meme?
I know you're listening right now to the podcast, JJ. Well done. Thanks for saving Star Wars.
Did you see that meme where they're like, I just now realized that the scene in Jedi when Vader says to Luke, Obi-Wan has taught you well. is when Luke has the high ground. And I thought that was so funny because there's a meme. Luke's at the top of the stairs. Vader's at the bottom. He's like, Obi-Wan has taught you well.
Oh,
like,
my gosh.
Luke's got the high ground. He taught.
No way.
Which we all know is how Vader loses his legs, his arms, not having the high ground.
That had to have been coincidence.
Probably. But it's a funny
that
meme.
Is really funny.
Yeah. No, I couldn't believe it. Like, 30 minutes in, 45 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I'm not repulsed yet by the movie.
Yeah.
Nothing's like, oh, this is ridiculous. I actually thought it was better than Force Awakens myself.
See, I didn't. And that's probably because Force Awakens had a well-craftedness about it that this one, you could see it was a fantastic film, but you can also see he's doing some cleanup here too.
Well, the reason why I didn't like Force Awakens as much is this was more believable to me, whereas Rey all of a sudden like having these incredibly strong abilities in the Force without having been trained is not realistic.
Right.
And he gave her that. Like when she's fighting Kylo Ren, someone who's been trained in the Force, it's like you would have gotten your clock cleaned by Kylo Ren. This is no way. So
yeah, that's true.
Better.
They did need to show that. And but with that, I have to go because my appraiser is turning up right now. He's 10 minutes early. But we can still finish and just say this because he's driving around outside looking for my house. I can see it through the big window. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening. That was our take. Pete and I could talk for hours. Maybe we will when we get back from vacation. Maybe we'll have a part 2.
Cool.
I got to process. I got to watch it at least one more time, dude.
Next time, maybe Sunday 3D is what I'm thinking. Go see it in 3D.
Maybe. Oh, I'd love to see it in 3D. Cinematography was really good on it, didn't you think?
I thought the whole movie. I really, honestly, great movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
JJ's the man.
I was just mixed about that. When I said mixed, I could hear your disappointment, kind of like me with Mandalorian.
I was thinking it was Mandalorian again. I was like, you and I are, yin and yang on this.
No, I loved it. It was just the Emperor thing. I was glued to my theory. But if I go watch it again without
what was your theory?
My theory that they were Luke's kids.
Oh, yeah.
What I was waiting for. Dude, we got so much to talk about, though. That whole Sith discipleship. Oh, how cool was that? And they were all chanting.
Well, I couldn't tell if it was real or what.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't tell either. But, all right, he's approaching my gate. I got to go.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of the Church Planter Podcast with Pete Mitchell and Peyton Jones. We'd love to hear your comments on this episode of the Church Planter Podcast. Visit us online and let us know what you thought at churchplanterpodcast.com. If you subscribe to us via iTunes and have enjoyed the podcast, leave us a positive review. The more positive reviews we receive in iTunes, the more iTunes will promote us to other church planners who would benefit from this show. This podcast is brought to you by the Church Planter Magazine, which is available in the iTunes newsstand or online via churchplantermagazine.com.